Welcome back to another day of Cactus Score Plays Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. My name is Bobby.
I'm Kevandre.
And last time, we figured out that the blue badger is actually a mincy pot, or whatever the fuck that thing is.
Yeah, some bullshit.
Yeah. It was super weird. And that Neil Marshall was actually a badass who was standing over Joe Dark with the broken spear tip, little helper tip thing from the thing. And then he got tackled by a 14-year-old girl. So, you know, always watch your sidelines.
He's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
His corpse.
Yeah, perfectly fine. And, yeah.
What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Changes don't change a thing. Indeed? Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
The location, the murder weapon, or the murderer. That's an interesting... Well,
It's a good question, right? Like, the jar was in the background of the thing, right?
right. So we know it was there in Luchador Gant's office. Because that's where the presentation was at. Right? I mean,
yeah, but we already knew that. I don't think the location changes.
Right. The murder weapon, that was the King of Prostitutors thing, right?
Yeah, we've already established that, so it's got to be the murderer.
I would think so.
It just because the other two aren't right.
Right. And then this means that there was somebody else in there about to smash the jar. So, okay, we'll go with the murderer, and if we're wrong, then fuck.
Come on and smash it. Like it's a jar.
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar?
Can you pull up that picture?
Yeah. Because it was on the...
So it was that way. She must have been like above it? Or someone was holding it?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she saw someone holding it and raising it to smash it. And that's why it'd been such an odd angle. Because if you were holding it, you kind of hold it like by the base thing.
I suppose that makes more
Or
sense
the
than
bigger
her
one.
ominously floating. Like the chair back.
Well, hold on. This case has gotten pretty weird. Let's give
It's
it some
gotten
time.
real fucking weird with it.
Yeah. Maybe there's a gravitational anomaly, and she was just all on the ceiling. You don't know.
Where?
The location of the jar is shown a picture taken on the day of the crime.
Lamau.
Okay. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gaunt.
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. It's in the same office, though, so who cares? The witness testified so herself.
Yes, it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office.
Is that two separate offices?
No.
Are you implying the murderer removed the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes,
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
just to fuck with you.
I just didn't want to mop up on my side.
That would be a perfect answer, knowing what we know about the character. It's kind of rude, but I wouldn't be surprised at
I'm
that
the
point.
butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
Yes, I buttle. Anyways. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. That's... never mind.
Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Let's finish up this charade.
It's Charade.
I'm happy either way.
It doesn't
Black
matter.
and bisexual.
I think charades is the game and the action, but a charade is There's some way that people get really uppity about that word.
Don't masquerade with the guy in shades. Come on.
Yeah, everybody knows that. I've finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though.
Justice must be served.
Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Okay.
Ah!
Oh, it was the fucking spear tip on the suit of armor.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
It still had that there in his office, though.
Yeah, but they just changed
replaced
it
it
around.
Yeah.
They took the halberd bit off of the... Never mind. That's getting weird.
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword.
That's not a sword. It's okay, Judge. Don't worry. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prostituters trophy.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility.
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually prostitute Neil Marshall.
Shit.
Ho 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 ho. And Luchador Gaunt has been blackmailing Lana the entire time.
You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me?
Yeah, it's all your fault. Don't tackle strangers in the dark, kid.
No!
Oh shit.
She's dead. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. I think it's happened before in this game.
Yeah, we've done it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Come on, Judge.
What year is it?
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances...
Joe Dark murdered prostitute Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved prostitute Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that my sister killed Neil Marshall? Fuck me.
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony.
This bitch.
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
We certainly can't get dead people to testify. Well, hold on now.
Yeah, we just need Maya.
Right, we know a girl. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
Touché, touché. Of course. That only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean, The possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible.
Is it? Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Does it? That's an excellent question. There's M.O. Well, hello.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been from Neil Marshall.
I mean, is it not?
Well, I don't know.
Right? It's where she pushed him. That might be it. I'm just saying, it might be it. Could be a fucking thing. Who knows? Right now, that's my bet. I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. I'm gonna say it's in the evidence.
Yeah.
Because that's how we move this thing forward. This message from the deceased is already in our possession.
Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer?
She's not a murderer. Accidental manslaughter. Don't worry about it.
Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. See, I think that it's because it specifically said that Neil Marshall made this evidence. I don't think it's a piece of cloth. I think that that's what What's-His-Face was using to blackmail Lana.
Oh, okay, so he clipped it off his clothing and was like, look, I got her prints, I can prove she did the pushy.
Right.
Okay.
Now, I think the fact that the jar has, like... I don't know. I don't think we're done with this yet.
Is there a way that we can turn the jar, maybe? To get it to read a thing? I'm not sure.
Because, like, the blood splatter's, like, weird, right?
Yeah, it's pretty damn strange.
And it probably broke anyway, right?
When it fell. So there's a way to move these pieces around to get it to
Because,
make
yeah,
a
we
thing.
glued it back together.
Right.
But he probably wrote in his blood or something, right?
Right.
I'm grasping at straws here. I'm not really sure.
We might have to break this jar again and try and figure out a way to make these
Again,
make
we've
sense.
got this whole blue bar, so we can give it a shot. Or we can try the cloth thing if you want.
I like your idea. It makes more sense than the cloth. Because you're right. It wouldn't have been him leaving this, and Gaunt using this to blackmail would have been right.
Right.
I'm not too sure about this, but it sounds better.
If it's wrong, then we've got other choices.
Yes. And it wouldn't have been the evidence list. Or could it have been?
The evidence list wouldn't have existed yet.
Well, would it?
Well, I guess it possibly could have. It just wouldn't have included stuff from his.
Right. Okay, let's try this. This is the message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Yeah, the blue badger is the message. It's saying, have a good time with the police station.
Yes.
Look, he was an alright, upbeat guy.
Oh, is he just going to speak the killer's name?
Don't be a bitch.
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Look, also don't be a bitch.
That's my whole thing.
Y'all are being fucking rude here. At least
She's passed out. She's fine.
Lana has a reason to be rude, so, whatever. But Edgeworth doesn't. He's just being an asshole. Looks like everyone's forgotten. This is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood
yeah.
on this jar.
It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Ellipsis.
Oh, do we got a spritzy? But, sorry. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away.
That's EM.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines?
Prostitutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent.
Yeah, or use the spritzy spritzy.
Yeah,
No.
I got spritzy for days.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. You gotta connect these dots to make letters.
Yeah, that's clearly Emma.
Yeah, there's only one thing the victim could have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, I guess that's just good enough.
Phoenix is just writing in his own blood here.
Do I need to connect the dots? Oh, it's for the... Okay.
I don't like it.
And I can't connect that E anywhere. E. But that looks about right?
Yeah.
I don't care for this.
It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all, my efforts. I never thought it would turn out like this, with odd pauses where I misread
After all your efforts, I died 2 years ago.
Emma.
So this is the final message Prostitutor Marshall left behind.
Yeah, it could have written down Joe and still blamed him, and that would have been fine. It would have been like, oh no, he actually did.
Yeah, why would he be like j'accuse to Emma? Like, what a dick.
Yeah.
It was clearly, like, not a mistake. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life...
was Emma Skye.
Shit.
Or maybe he just really hated her.
Yeah. She was always trying to cockblock.
Yeah, just like, yeah, fuck this bitch, and rude.
Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you.
Luchador can't.
You understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prostituter in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
That's a hell of a noise. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. Was he?
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prostituter in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. Holy shit, they're way louder now.
Yeah.
What's going on in the prostituter's office?
They might have sent an innocent man to his death.
How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order, order, order! Order!
The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess.
The judge hit them all with his gavel.
Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Yeah.
Find out next time.
Are you serious?
Dragon Ball Z.
Motherfucker.
We may actually get to episode 69. We'll see. So it's worth.
This game just doesn't end.
It's edge worth it.
No.
Maybe you're edge worth it.
No.
Maybe it's Mayfair.
Look, I think you're trying to go too far with this. Stop being an edgelord.
Judo chop.
Judo chop.
Oh.
I judo chopped his judo chop. It was fantastic.
My wrist fell off.
You people should have seen it, but we don't have a camera, so you never will.
Yeah.
Also, we're too ugly for YouTube, so,
Speak for yourself.
I am speaking for myself. Your beauty does not cancel out my ugly enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours.
Oh, good. Can I ask you a favor then?
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later.
Okay, bye. Wait, Detective Gumshoe! What is it?
You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty.
Do you think you're not supposed to be running around?
And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I take it Lana's having you run errands again.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day.
I love the cover.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like that a lot.
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so.
You could at least study some evidence law. Really? The the luchador prostitute also wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book.
Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read.
Yeah, you probably should have read that before.
Yeah, you dumb fuck. How have you not read this? Evidence law securely slipped into pocket.
I don't know what evidence is.
We pocketed it.
Yes, that too. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. I can't fucking speak. All that's left now is luchador prostitute sentence.
That's where you're wrong, detective.
Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prostituter seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me?
Mr. Edgeworth. Oh.
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
We still got 60 more episodes.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal!
You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
It was you.
Oh.
And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes.
I choose to expose myself.
Oh, you probably don't want to do that in a courthouse.
Please, there are ladies present.
This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end.
Agreed.
And then Garrison will be so sad. Yeah, type.
Number 9?
Constitution number 9.
Well, we're now reconvened for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. We want to keep going, because I think it's possible that we're close to the end here.
I know, that's up to you.
I mean, we can just do another one if you want. Or not.
I don't have additional shoutouts.
Okay.
I got one for this episode. So, I guess we're just gonna, forge ahead.
Alright, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
If it's the finale, it's just long.
Yeah. I mean, is there a way that you could see how close we are to the end without spoilers?
Yeah, I'm trying to find that out right now.
Okay. That will help influence our decision. You can't be having spoilers, though. That's rude.
Okay, so we are reasonably close, though I'm not going to say that we could do it in one episode.
We'll go ahead and call it then.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the rest in the next episode. Would that be doable?
Sure.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead, call it here. I'll have to think of another shout out. Rude. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got. Some interesting going on in this episode.
Very much.
Right? So let's go ahead and do our shout outs.
Cool. I'm going to do a shout out to a movie that we saw this last week. It's called Birds of Prey. You may not have heard of it because nobody's seen it.
I think I read that they were actually looking at changing the name.
They're changing the name to just like Harley Quinn or something, right?
Yeah.
But like it was called Birds of Prey and like the emancipation of one fantabulous Harley Quinn or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's Birds of Prey. It's awesome.
And it's got Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad starring with Margot Robbie. You've got Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, and some girl I don't know as Black Canary, but she's the best Black Canary.
Yeah, she was really good.
Yeah. Overall, the film was pretty decent. It's rated R, and you can tell. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, and yeah, it's one of the better DC films. I don't love the villains, because the villains are Black Mask starring Ewan McGregor and Victor Zsasz as some guy.
Yeah. And
neither one of them is really like their comic counterpart at all, which sometimes is fine, but I don't think that it did this movie favors. And now I feel like we've just expended Black Mask for something that could have been much better.
Yeah. It was somewhat disappointing in that regard.
Yeah, the villains aren't amazing, but the rest of the movie is pretty good.
It's very colorful. It's pretty trope-filled. If you watch the trailer, it's like a good version of what you would be expecting after watching that trailer.
Right.
So, I enjoyed watching it. I didn't go in expecting much, and it delivered slightly higher than, what I was fearing.
Yeah, it's not like a 10 out of 10, but it's, decent.
Yeah. Glad I saw it. I'd agree, it's one of the better DC films, which is not a high bar to jump over, but it still jumped over it. That's the important bit. And nobody really makes that comparison. Oh, it's not a high bar to jump over. It's like, yeah, but if you didn't jump over it, that would have been bad.
Right.
It still did good. So my shout out, though, is going specifically towards Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie's acting of it. So I thought that was a really fun character to watch. I think Margot Robbie hit it out of the park again. It was definitely the outstanding bit of the film. It was one of the only good bits of Suicide Squad. I really like her as that character.
Yeah, she does a great job.
Yeah, I like the way that she takes it. I like her, emotions and all that stuff with the character. She really goes all in with it. It's nice. That's it. I just want to do a shout out to Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.